What is happening, people? Let's go through what to expect for this week. So on Instagram today, I will put basically a walkthrough of all the trades I took last week. So if you want to go see that, that'll be up there. I can also do a video if you guys want. But 6% up for last week, 2 trades, and then the third one didn't tag me on Friday. Obviously went through that in the masterclass with the premium group, so that link is below. But other than that, let's get into it. So make sure you guys subscribe, all the links below. And let's get into what I'm kind of expecting this week. So we are now in this extreme, more or less extreme of this point on Euro. Yes, it is technically this lower low in here that is the extreme, but it's more or less mitigated. So for me, this is my last unmitigated area in this range, and this is what I want to use. On the daily, this is also the last point as well. So I'm expecting a reaction off of here. We've now major induced, created somewhat retest, and then pushed down into this point. So we've medium induced into it. All I want to do is see a bit of a retracement. So understanding this is a lower low, being the case, we've got to just still expect that sells are the main go. What I'm kind of looking at, let me just remove all these drawings. What I'm kind of looking at is we've got this next break that obviously occurred here, break here, high to low. You've got your decisional, which is this area here. So we'll see how price reacts coming to that and then go from there. I would say today there's no trades. Look at current price. There's just nothing to use. And then you've obviously got your extreme that sits more or less up in this range here. You possibly can have something like this, for example. Just go down to that lower time frame and see what there is. But we have got relative equal highs here. Yes, this took liquidity, and yes, it's a decisional. It is a demand to supply also. I just think it's more likely that we are actually pushed through this point. So we'll have to see how price reacts into it. If we can get a quick move into this point, so something really, really quick here, I'm happy to then take some type of smart money trap entry, buying through this, taking out liquidity. But we're so far off of that happening. We've got this gap to fill. Yes, we've had this little inducement. I might be open to looking in off something off that on open. But I think it's very unlikely that we'll actually get anything. We have reacted off of this point. It's not really anything. I would more or less need price now to push into here and give me some type of track reaction through this point. We've got 30 minutes, so we'll see what happens, but sells are the go. Sells are definitely the go. I don't really want to trade from this decisional. I don't really value this given current context. I would much rather wait for the take of that point, which is where previous day highs are. So not a lot to do with Euro, but that's kind of my outlook. 4 hour on GU, we've major induced this area of liquidity, which is that decisional. We've then broken, obviously retested and pulled back down. Excuse me. So I would like to buy through this retest that's still holding. It was a really, really good week on GE last week. We've now medium induced into this mitigation, and now we've medium induced low. So the divergence on EU does hold a lot of value. So we've got the medium inducement low with that divergence here. You may actually find that that provides enough for us to actually push back up. So what I would like to see is that retracement. Same thing on GU, on EU. So we've got to take at this point, no structure cycle confirmed. Really, really clean divergence that's occurred at the lows. And I would like to just buy through this point. It's just not giving us anything to work with. So we'll have to wait to see what price does when we come up to this area here, which is our extreme. So if we can push really, really quickly, which we probably will today, and then get something like that, I'm happy to take that trade through this point, come and target this high. So I really like that idea. AUDUSD on the 4 hour, we're kind of in the middle of no man's land. I would actually like to sell AU. We are in the daily point on the daily. Apart from that, it's not really giving us anything. AU is bearish, so I'm still going to use that bearish nature on AU. That's our decisional we've reacted off of. Really straight retracement into that. That was a buy I took last week. Break, then pulled down, mitigated, and pushed again. We still haven't broken this external low here, so I think this will more likely be a trap. What we're more than likely going to come take is just the decisional that sits here. So I think this trade here into this point is the A+ entry for today. So that's what I'll be looking at. Very, very clean, continuing with those sells, unmitigated point, decisional move into the mitigation. So I tick all those boxes. This is what I'll be focused on coming into today. Very straightforward and simple. All I'll be looking at. I can actually do that now. DXY. A little bit of a sell-off possibly. Now that we've induced that high. Possibly get that. But it's also likely that we just keep pushing up. It's not giving us a lot to work with. We need some more price action on the DXY before I can make that call. Like I said, we have induced this high, which is a medium inducement. No range or anything to move off of there. So I would like us to see us push through this point here. It's just very, very unlikely. That's more of just speculation. But given the current market, it's definitely more or less unlikely that will happen. Got lots of news this week, or the bigger news this week that could push the market and kind of give us some clarity. So that's what I want on the DXY coming into this week, just given structure, where liquidity lies, etc. We'll see if that occurs and go from there. So any questions at all? That is more or less the weekly outlook. I would like to see price push up to this area as a minimum. GU, more or less the same deal. I would like to see price push up here. And then AU. I'm kind of just happy to sell AU. I don't like buys on AU, so I'm happy to sell. DXY, that move there. Any questions, let me know. Live with the group tomorrow. And let's continue on. Let's have a good week and do our thing.